So it's week 3 of my 28, I think, weeks of training for my first 50K. And this week was punctuated by a couple of days of being terrified by lightning and a couple of days of feeling like I'd been pepper sprayed. I spent about 4 years of the 1990s jumping out of airplanes for recreation. And during that period, I learned a term that I think applied this week. Frequently, this was in Florida when I was a skydiver, weather was a problem for that activity, of course, and we'd have a day where there was threatening clouds and rain, and then suddenly a big blue hole would open up, and we'd think, we can all jump in the plane, get to altitude, and get a jump in while we have this opportunity. And that was known as a sucker hole. Because you'd look up and you'd see this big blue hole and think you'd have time, and then by the time you got to altitude, the clouds had moved in underneath you, and then you had to land with the airplane because you couldn't jump. Well, I got caught with a couple of sucker holes while running this week. I got home in the afternoon, thought I had enough time to get out and get my run in before the weather moved in. And the first night, I think, was Tuesday night, and I got maybe a mile from the house, maybe a little less, and out of a cloud that to me didn't look like it was capable of producing lightning. And by the way, I'm not a meteorologist. I saw a bolt of lightning right in front of me, pretty far off, but not far enough for me. So anyway, I turned around and was actually at a 6-minute mile for a little while running back, which is fast for me. But so I did the unthinkable and had to run a couple miles on the dreaded treadmill. And then that happened again on Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Wednesday. I got a couple miles in outside, and then the weather started getting threatening, so I had to run, I think, 3 or 4 miles on the treadmill. I hate running on the treadmill, but gotta do what I gotta do, I guess. And then this weekend, things were beautiful. The weather could not have been much nicer. I think we actually got a little cool front that came through, and there was just a hint of fall and crisp-ish weather. It was still 85 or 90 degrees, but it, was not quite as humid. You could definitely tell there was a difference. So I got to run in the mornings, probably 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Slathered on sunscreen, headed out for my runs. And the first day, I think it was a 6-mile run, and a mile or two from the finish, my eyes started burning really badly, and I assumed, I think correctly, that sunscreen was sweating into my eyes, being washed by the sweat into my eyes. And it was highly uncomfortable, but no big deal. By the time I got home, I took my contact lenses out because it was burning enough that I thought it might be good to take those out and rinse them and stuff. And then I guess the part of my eye that was covered by the contact lenses started burning, so that was annoying for a little while, but again, no big deal. The next day, Sunday, I had an 8-mile run, slathered on the same sunscreen, and I was applying it pretty liberally. I'll get into the specifics of the sunscreen I was using in a second because I think it's relevant. And ran 4 miles out, and right at 4 miles, it felt like my face was on fire. Now, under controlled circumstances, I've had a couple of opportunities to be sprayed with pepper spray, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. And other than some of the other effects of pepper spray, the burning of the eyes was very, very similar. I probably had my eyes closed 2/3 of the time that I was running back. And I actually I was running on the side of the road at one point and stepped off the edge of the roadway and twisted my ankle a little bit. It was a mess. By the way, I have seen a statistic that in a typical feature-length movie, you miss something like 15 minutes of it by blinking. And I was reflecting on that as I was running back, because I really was like keeping my eyes closed for several seconds at a time and then just opening them long enough to get my bearings and then close them again, because that was the only way to make the discomfort more bearable. For a long time, I've been using spray-on sunscreen, and I think it works. I don't get sunburned from it, so it seems to work well. However, you're really not supposed to spray that stuff in your face, and honestly, I've had a bad habit of doing that, just holding my breath and spraying it in my face. But I'm trying to be, conscious of the things I do that might be unhealthy and try not to do them. So I've decided to try to stop doing that and use a lotion, sunscreen for my face and head. And unfortunately, this stuff doesn't work well for me, and this is not a knock on this particular brand. I've used the spray form of this and had no difficulties, and I've actually used this stuff in I used to buy the spray can, it came with a little tube of the lotion, and I've used that before, mostly for the ears and stuff. But I think because this container encourages me to use it more liberally, I just slathered on a whole bunch of it, and I think that was the problem. In this product's defense, it does say on the indications on the label to keep it out of your eyes, and they're right, you don't want it in your eyes. But I need to figure out a different sunscreen application method or something, because I sweat a lot here, and this is going to continue to be a problem. And I wear a hat, but I still feel like I need to cover my ears and my nose and things like that, and maybe I don't need to put it on my forehead at all, I don't know. If you know a different product or have some information or a resource that I might turn to, post it in the comments section below. For the time being, I just took a Sharpie and wrote myself a reminder not to put this on my face anymore, so I can at least still use it on other parts of my body, just not in the eyes. So that catches you up. I've got a couple of things I'm planning on doing in the near future, doing some reviews of some of the equipment and products that I'm using. So stay tuned for that stuff. If you're interested at all in this and you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I put a new video up. If you've somehow randomly got here and you don't know me at all, maybe go check out my other channel and see how awesome sewing is. Thanks for watching.